Between 6 and 6:30 p.m. on Tuesday, June 15, 2021, 5-year-old Summer Moon Utah Wells was last seen at her home on Ben Hill Road in the Beech Creek area near Rogersville, Hawkins County, Tennessee. She's described as possibly barefoot, wearing a pink shirt and gray pants or shorts. That evening, a 911 call brought deputies to the scene. Through the night and into the next day, local, state, and federal agencies converged on the rural community. In the early hours of June 16th, the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation issued an endangered child alert, upgraded later to an Amber Alert, as search teams, K-9 units, and aircraft fanned out across rugged terrain near the home. For days and then weeks, crews navigated steep hollows and dense forest, logging thousands of labor hours. Tips poured in from across the country, each one checked and documented. Early on, in the disappearance of Summer Wells, the parents made different statements to the media. Her father, Donald Wells, told reporters that Summer went inside and down to the basement to play with her toys and didn't respond when called. He also said in interviews in the first month of Summer's disappearance that he believed Summer had been abducted, and he told a local newspaper in mid-July 2021 that he believed Summer was dead and said, "Statistically speaking, there's a good chance she's already dead. I hate to think that. I love her with all my heart. If nothing else, I'll see her in the resurrection." Her mother, Candace Bly, said on camera in June 2021 that me and my mother and her were planting flowers. We went in after we got done. Summer wanted to go back over and see her brothers. I walked her all the way over to the porch. I told the boys, "Watch Summer, I'll be back." Within 2 minutes, I asked the boys where their sister was. They said, "She went downstairs, Mom, to play with her toys in the playroom." I yelled downstairs, and I didn't get no answer. I went down there to check, and she was nowhere in sight. She added that she believed Summer was abducted. I feel in my heart that somebody has came up here and took her. At the 1-year anniversary presser on June 15, 2022, the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation reiterated key verified facts and appeals for credible tips, noting no verified sighting of Summer since June 15, 2021. On October 30, 2021, Donald Wells was arrested on a DUI charge and pleaded guilty on February 7, 2022. He was sentenced to 11 months and 29 days with 180 days to serve plus inpatient treatment. The remaining time was suspended upon compliance. He was also charged with the possession of a handgun under the influence, unlawful possession of a weapon, and domestic assault from an October 14, 2020 incident in Tennessee, and the domestic assault charge was dropped along with the unlawful possession of a weapon on April 21, 2021, but he was still convicted of the possession of a handgun under the influence charge. Donald Wells had prior felony convictions involving burglary, drugs in Arkansas, Utah, and Texas, with parole violations in the late 1990s to early 2000s. In the burglary case in Arkansas in July 2006, Donald Wells had broken into a woman's garage and stolen items, including a pair of panties belonging to the woman. Don was caught when police found him with the panties in his pocket, and he admitted to police he was going to use the panties to masturbate at a later time. Donald Wells had a son named Donald Wesley Wells, who was a sex offender. He was found guilty in February 2007 of sexual indecency with a child and was released from the Arkansas Department of Corrections in May 2010. Donald Wells said there was only 18 months difference between his son's age and the victim's and that he was a good kid. Wells knew his son was in Utah at the time of Summer's disappearance, and there's no connection between him and Summer's disappearance. Donald Wells said, "No way would he think of something like this. When I first told him, he bawled like a little baby. My sisters all cried." Donald Wesley Wells is now married to the victim, and on March 12, 2025, got taken into custody. Donald Wesley Wells is a level 3 sex offender. Offenders in this category have a history of repeat sexual offending and/or strong antisocial, violent, or predatory characteristics. Candace Bly Wells also had her run-ins with the law, with sleuthers online posting multiple mugshots, with a drug charge being one of the arrests. Multiple outlets reported that Candace Bly pleaded guilty to a misdemeanor domestic abuse-related charge in Wisconsin in 2003. Specific docket details aren't given in those articles, but they consistently cite Wisconsin court records. On June 15, 2021, Candace Wells took her daughter Summer to Warriors Path State Park for swimming in the late morning to early afternoon, the day Summer disappeared. This was one of the last known locations Summer was seen, and Candace filmed video of Summer swimming there.
Mark Reynolds, thank you very much. As this week marks 10 months since family members said Summer Wells disappeared from their home in Hawkins County, News Channel 11 continues to work to find answers. Tonight, Ansley Daniels in the Beech Creek community with a timeline of June 15th, 2021, leading up to that night.
We've walked you through what has happened since Summer Wells disappeared the night of June 15th. But for the first time, we walk you through that day with her mother and grandmother from their perspective just hours before she was reported missing.
Candace and I got up that morning. She came out and took me into the ER because my leg was messing up on me.
The hospital is about 25 minutes from the Wells Beech Creek home in Kingsport.
She took me into the hospital, and I ended up getting a shot for it to get rid of the pain, and they prescribed me medication.
Summer, her mother, and grandmother spent the day in the closest city to their house.
Then we waited around for my prescription. Summer went swimming that day at the horse stables, I believe it was.
We were waiting on my mother's prescription from the drugstore at Walgreens on Fort Henry.
The three, along with a friend that Candace describes as a minor, then came swimming here at Warriors Path State Park. It's where the last known video of Summer was taken and then posted to TikTok.
We had to wait for Mom's prescription at Walgreens, so we just went up to Warriors. There was all kinds of trash everywhere at Warriors when we showed up. And I let Summer out to play, and we just stood there for about 15-20 minutes, and then we all got back in the truck and went and got Mom's prescription, and I took him home, and then we came home.
And so then Summer came back here with you later that afternoon, right?
Yes.
The trip from Warriors Path back to Ben Hill Road is just over 17 miles. But Bly couldn't recall how many hours that was before she reported her daughter missing.
About how many hours was that before she was reported missing?
You know, I really can't tell you all the time details because time gets away from you when you're trying to enjoy yourself.
The three then returned here to their home on Ben Hill Road. A neighbor says that she first heard Candace calling for Summer around 6 o'clock that night. Police say that she was reported missing around half an hour later, around 6:30.
The last known footage of Summer Wells comes from a short called Milk Jugs, a car video with Summer in the back seat sleeping on milk jugs from June 15, 2021, which was recorded by Summer's grandmother, Grandis. Some speculated that she may have died after going to the Warriors Path State Park, where the lake was in Kingsport, where she went swimming. In June 2023, on the second-year mark, authorities reaffirmed the Amber Alert remained active and the case still open. Authorities released an age progression photo of Summer Wells. On her 9th birthday, on February 4th, 2025, Summer's parents posted photos of her saying they miss her more than anything in the world. On June 11th, 2025, it was reported by news outlets and the Find Summer Wells website that the parents of Summer Wells, Donald and Candace, had been cleared by their Department of Children's Services over allegations of child abuse and neglect towards their 3 sons.
Hello everyone, this is Don Wells. We're here to report to you that we've got official letters from the heads of DCS that we are cleared from any abuse or neglect on our parts towards our children. Thank you very much. Have a great day.
In August 2025, the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation released an updated age progression picture of Summer Wells, who would be 9 years old now. Summer Wells has been missing now for over 4 years, and her case has sparked a lot of attention online, some negative and some positive, with people trying to keep her name in the limelight in order to help find her. I hope a solution comes soon and a breakthrough occurs with Summer Wells being found unharmed.